It's interesting because you remember the word pastor. One power, one presence. And as I look around the room, we talked about, when we did our opening prayer today, what we feel grateful for. And what I'm feeling grateful for right now is smiles. And when we talk about intention happens in the moment. It is that one power, that one presence that we talk about here in unity. What is our intention? Why are we here? Recognizing that we have power. And the power is not over anything. It's not the kind of manipulative control power that we see so present in a lot of what humans have tried to grasp onto in our experience today. This power is something that our great teachers have talked about, the Buddha. Remember, he talked about that non-resistance, about that energy of allowing, of not pushing back, but tuning in to the presence. Jesus the Christ talked about be still and know, go within and find that inner connection. He called it the Father. So as we move towards this powerful time, these holy days, let's recognize that this is a powerful time that we are present within, and it is happening for us. We are moving on this little ball. It feels like a big ball to us, but when you compare it to the universe, Earth is this tiny little speck. And yet it is blossoming with life, with energy, with seasons, with seas, with clouds, with birds and trees, and so much life. We're a part of that. So when we tune into the presence, we recognize the power that we are a part of. And our brain, this little, what we could call consciousness or awareness, this point of view that is able to look out at this world that we are helping to create, it can feel overwhelming. So what if our intention was to remember always that we're not here to try to get or understand or figure it out by pulling it in from out there? Our intention is to let it flow from within. Because whatever's going on out there, on one level, is the past. It's already happened. It's already been created. What's moving through us with each breath, with each thought, with each word, with each deed, is our intention about what we want it to be moving forward and what we can claim it is right now. Because the presence is where we find our palette. What are we going to color with? What are we going to paint with? And that's what's inside here. It's what's inside our heart. So for me, it was learning some powerful tools through my journey to always start with what's going on in here. First, we go within and listen. Listen to what I'm telling myself about life. Am I telling myself it's a problem that needs to be solved? Does that connect with there is only one power and one presence active in the world and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent? So the minute we move into that problem solver, fight, flight energy, that's the indication that, oh, I've moved away from my core intention, which is to be the light and bring the healing and the, we could call it solution, but the truth is, or what I believe is, and what we share in unity is that whatever's happening is required. Whatever's happening is part of this time-space playground, which is an awakening process for us. It's about the experience. So on one level, nothing can go wrong. It's a radical concept, isn't it? Radical concept, because you turn on the TV, you listen to what's going on out there, and they're constantly saying, our bodies aren't safe. Our bodies aren't safe because everything out there in the universe is coming to get us, right? When we remember that we're not only part of this world, we have the ability to be in harmony with it. So for me, it's helpful to look at and listen to what's coming to me from the outside, because there's never a message or an information that's out there to get you or cause problems, but what's out there is invitations. Do you want to be pulled into the drama, the trauma? Or do you choose to say, what's mine to do and what's God's to do, or what is the divine spirit? We can believe in that divine spirit up here, but then we can go through each day thinking, I've got to do it all, and I've got to figure it out, and I've got to make it happen, right? Or we can say, I'm here now, breathing, being held here by gravity. There's something else that is supporting me. I wonder what's next. And then what do we do when we wonder what's next? There's a song called I Wander as I Wonder, or I Wonder as I Wander. And I love that song. It's kind of a Christmas song, isn't it? Is it connected to Christmas? Because it's about that opening. I wonder what's next. When we open our mind, our creative imagination, move this creative mind away from the worry, because worry is simply using your imagination to call to you what you don't want. My mother used to say, what do you want to do when you grow up? I mean, I want to be a performer. I want to be an artist. I was always drawn towards art or performing. And she said, well, that's not really very sensible. You might want to, figure out something to fall back on. And I remember saying, I don't want to fall back. So as a child, I knew that what we tell ourselves and what we plan is what's going to show up, right? We talk so much about health care. Look at the news and the politics, how long we've gone. Health care. What is health care about? It's about not trusting our natural healing ability, not trusting that life supports us. So many of these medications, they'll talk about the medications and show people dancing and so happy and everything. And then they say, and may cause this, festering boils and diarrhea and death. So it's death. And so you ask yourself, well, why would I take this medication? And then what I say is, well, people must be feeling really bad if they're willing to risk all that other stuff to feel better. Right? And yet there's so much other information out there, but that other information for the natural healing, for those other natural remedies, no one's making money off those, right? So when you step back and look at what's going on and ask yourself how you feel about it, let your mind expand. Let your mind move beyond the simple thing that's happening right now and step back into the grander intention. My intention is to remember that there is one presence, one power active in my life, active in the universe, active in your life, and it is a good energy. It is a positive energy. It is an energy that is eternal and infinite. Notice how that feels. Notice how those words feel. Do you feel an expansion? Do you feel a relaxation? Do you feel maybe what my therapist used to call the free-floating anxiety? Feel it kind of melt away and allow yourself to take a deeper breath. When we don't trust life and even if we don't totally believe it, open to the possibility that there is one power and one presence and it's active in me right now and I don't have to figure things out. When we step into it and start breathing more deeply, we harmonize with this physical world that we're in, and dis-ease begins to melt away. Look at the words. We talked about the words last week and the powerful different meanings of words. When you look at words in our English language, they're really telling you that dis-ease is really simply about moving away from the natural ease that the animals feel. Do you recognize that the animals aren't up in their head trying to worry about what might go wrong or what they did wrong in the past that they've got somehow fixed so they don't get punished? They don't believe in guilt or punishment or sin. They're just in the moment saying, hey, what's next? What's fun? Oh, my stomach's hungry. I need food. They're just tuning into that natural life force, right? Doesn't mean we want to suddenly be the animals. We really want to honor and validate our gifts, which is this conscious mind that can conceive of past and present, can begin to be a conscious co-creator with spirit. Look around and you can see how powerfully creative we are. Look at this world. Look at this piano. Every week when I come here and hear Marilyn on this amazing instrument, and these tones, this music comes out that we can sing along with, right? Music's invisible. Doesn't make it any less real. So let's expand our mind and call in the invisible. The things that haven't even manifested yet, but that are there waiting to move through us, through you, move through you, move through you. When we move our mind from worry by having the intention to trust that there really is one presence, one power that is present here, that is supporting me, that is supporting everyone, that is part of what's happening in the world. When we can tune into that and trust and move forward from that space, something different happens. Take a moment to breathe. Feel yourself grounded in the moment. I'm up here today without my notes, and as you guys shared with me earlier, because I left my notes at home. So the choice was whether I could, do it on my phone, or else I needed to use my phone to connect onto YouTube. And everyone said, well, you never really look at your notes anyway, so go ahead and do it. And yet, it's different when I don't have that security blanket. And so I'm taking a moment now to notice what that feels like. And you know what it feels like, or how it feels? Because it's not like anything, it is what it is. It feels a little scary, but it also feels connected. We talk about stress, and when we talk about the power of intention, what it brought up for me is I remembered years ago I did this, one of those spiritual practices that was really about manifesting. It was really about being able to take you where you were, where you felt like you wanted more. Things that were happening weren't really consistent with who you are, what I was wanting. Let's bring it in the I language. And it was how to move forward. And one of the tools, it was very interesting. When I first heard it, I thought, well, that just sounds stupid. But they said what they wanted you to do is during the day when you find yourself feeling that frustration of not being kind of where you want to be and wanting to move forward, you breathe into that feeling, really validate it, really be in it rather than trying to escape it. Notice what it feels like, and then visualizing what you're wanting based on where you are now, whatever the thing that would make you feel better or you wanted to move through. And it said to imagine a rubber band in this place where you are, reach up and pull that rubber band forward and hang it on that place where you want to go, that thing where you want to go. And so I started doing it, and I started recognizing that as I continued to do it, I literally was beginning to feel a pull. And the next teaching was, and then let it go completely. Don't try to figure out how to get there. Don't come up into your head. Just recognize that you've created that organic or energetic pull. Well, through unity, I've adjusted it a little bit, and I start with my heart. And I pull it forward. And it was powerful. And what it made me think of whenever I think of the word intention, tension, that word. And I also realized that, they talk about stress so much and that's what causes diseases. I also heard a talk recently about the positive aspects of stress. That there's something positive about that inner energy that's moving you forward that you could really simply call it life force. We're not here to be stationary, because even when we are stationary, how much movement is going on in these bodies of ours, right? Our heart beating, cells dying and replicating, all these messages, electromagnetic, going through our bodies. So there's a dynamic energy that we are a part of. The gift is we can relax within it. We can turn it all off and go to sleep at night, which to me is one of the most powerful expressions of faith, right? People have a hard time when you talk about faith, having faith that there really is just one presence, one power, having faith in that divine spirit which we can't see. But yet, truthfully, we turn all this craziness off at night and trusting some inner thing that we can turn it all off and just let it go. Ever watched a loved one or an animal that you love sleeping? What a peaceful experience it is. Do you notice that? I remember when I went on vacation with my mother. This is after my crazy childhood and all the stuff, the divorce, her throwing me out of the house, all this confrontation. And I was a young adult, probably in my 20s. And my family had this house down in the Caribbean. My mom said, I want to go down to the Caribbean. It was off season, and it would be just you and me, and because I had some time off. So we went down and spent this time, and it was such a healing time because I was able to be there as the adult rather than the child. And I was already teaching yoga and teaching some of these spiritual concepts. So my mother was actually looking at me with new eyes, and we would have these conversations about that idea, about to be able to trust life and to stop trying to control and whatever. She got it a little bit, but it was mostly argument, and she didn't want to let go of her, what I will call victimhood, her ability to say, well, no, it's not fair, and I haven't been treated right, stuff. So I let it go, but it was a wonderful trip. But then I went to get her one day because it was time for dinner, and she was laying down and taking a nap. And I remember sitting watching her, and tears came to my eyes because I saw the innocence. I saw the child that she was. Somehow I was able to kind of tune into her whole life journey. And it just healed me in a way that nothing else had with her, because I saw her not as the mother, not as the one who had done this, but I saw her just as a fellow being who had given me the gift of life. And I actually was able to tune in to what it might be like to, be born into a body where one of your options is to have another body grow inside you and push it out. That's crazy. It's funny how men think they're the strong ones. Forget about it. Women come from that place where they can hold that energy inside them. It's such a different kind of power than the power that men have grabbed onto, which is always often the power over other things. This is the power to create life. And where we're moving, this is bringing me back to the intention and what I want to really focus on today, because next week we're going to be doing a powerful process for the solstice. And what is the solstice? What is happening now? Why do we have Christmas at this time? It's not because Jesus was born on the 25th. It's because they wanted to connect Christianity with the past religions that had to do with the natural world, that had to do with the solstice, when they saw the sun disappearing and they said, what's going on? And they had to have faith and do different rituals to call the sun back. Because already humans were thinking, if we don't step in and make it happen, we're not going to be okay, right? It started as a mistrust of life. But the gift is, it grew into religions and our understanding that there is more going on here. So it's all a gift. And unity, this powerful teaching that we have here, is part of that, because they went right back to Jesus's basic teachings. And they said, what did he do to create the miracles, and what was he telling us? They threw out the guilt and the sin and the hell and damnation. We don't believe in that here because Jesus never talked about those things. He talked about the kingdom of heaven being within, and that our words and our thoughts and our deeds had power. So he really stepped it up and said, we're co-creators with Spirit. And when you do tune into that energy, you can create what looks like miracles, but what he was sharing with us is this is our natural evolution. This is what is waiting for us when we begin to trust, when we stop resisting and pushing back. Right? That inner connection allowed us to move forward. Myrtle and Charles Fillmore tuned into these energies and healed their lives to the point where people in their neighborhood, friends and relatives said, hey, what did you do? How did you heal yourself from tuberculosis when you'd been given 6 months to live? Why are your finances suddenly blossoming when you were, you were destitute almost at one point? And they just said, well, we tuned into what Jesus said. The word, focus on what you believe is true. Let the outside world be the past, and you be the one who's choosing what's next. Tune into that divine energy. And we share that here each week. And what we're doing as we move towards the new year and this solstice energy, we're opening to greater possibilities. So I invite each of you to open your mind what this year 2026 might or could look like beyond our wildest imaginations, because as you can imagine it, as you can open that imagination, we're inviting that fresh energy in. Just as when you worry and think about what's going wrong and you feel a pain, you go, oh my God, there must be cancer, you're doing the same thing. So if we think about our bodies, start to trust your body and your ability to be here. Start to visualize what's possible in the next year and open to the possibilities. Turn the news off. Or if you're going to watch it, recognize that it's coming from a specific point of view. Always consider the source. And remember that your most potent, immediate, truthful source is your inner guidance. Because each of us, and this is what we learn at Unity and practice here each Sunday, is that I have an intimate, right here, right now relationship with that source, with that one power, that one presence. And as we begin to practice that belief, what happens is we start to feel and know, oh, I am that presence. I am that presence. And when we realize we're that presence, we don't do nasty things. We don't feel we need to claim our space and cut that other person off who just cut us off, which happened on my way here. And I could feel myself going into that old energy because it's not like it goes away, right? This time, space, playground is always giving you the option is to go down the trash road or go down the divine golden road, right? Or somewhere in between. And, for most of us, we're going back and forth. And it's all okay because it's a learning possibility. But this gets me to what I want to share today is that we're inviting new members each Sunday, today, next Sunday, and the following Sunday, as well as reinitiating members who have already been here. And so to do that, we're going to read through or talk about some of the basic principles. Number one, the most simple one, is what Jesus came to share. And Jesus shared many times that the one basic commandment is to love. That was really his message. Love. Love yourself, love your neighbor, love the world as you would love God, because they are all the same. And it's a challenge in a world where there's infinite possibilities and many people are going off in crazy things, and you can look and say, oh, that's awful. So I've begun to, not all the time, say, rather than, oh my God, that's awful, oh, thank you. That clearly helps me remember that that's not for me because I'm in a different place. And I bless you to learn what you need to learn or whatever, but I am creating a different vibration. And sometimes from that different vibration, I'll look back and say, is there anything I need to learn or I need to open to about that situation? And it's interesting when I come at it from a different point of view, I can recognize that that thing out there is something that people have chosen to create. And if they've chosen to create it, it must be something that they needed to experience. It's a powerful concept. But it also helped me look at my childhood, which I spent so many years in therapy thinking, why wasn't it different? And I began to say, well, it wasn't different because I wouldn't be who I am right now if I hadn't gone through that experience. Realizing how much compassion it has given me for other people who struggle. So it's really looking at those things. So that's what we share here. Number one, to love. Number 2, to become conscious of what you're telling yourself in here, what the core principles are, and what that means for you in this moment and in the next moment. So it really is a remembrance. And that's why we meet here every Sunday, right? Because we need to remember. And the other thing that came up this week that was very powerful, and I forget who it came through, but it was someone that I trust, but it was talking about the power. Oh, it was the movie I watched last night. It was wonderful. It's called Let Them All Talk. It's a wonderful, wonderful movie. But she was talking about, they're the creative person, the main star. She's a writer. And she was talking about how the power of humanity is that we had this consciousness that grew, and that we are able to come together in relationship and in community together to grow and evolve. And I thought of this family, I thought of my other spiritual communities that I've been in connection with in the past, and how much that channel, that energy, has really allowed me to have a life that's really been wonderful. And unity has also allowed me at 70 years old to realize I feel like a teenager who's just getting ready to graduate into the world. It's not, no matter what the collective consciousness tells you, it's not over because you've amassed a number of years. If you're involved in life, if you're really tuning into these energies, one power, one presence active in the universe, life can expand, life force can continue. So I want to go through, can someone share the time with me? Because now that we're doing this, I don't have my clock, and I know. What is it?
40 after.
Oh, perfect, we're good. All right, so we're going to go through these things that we read each week. And I want you to tune into them. Our mission statement: to love, to serve, to awaken. I think the reason we put them in that order is because love comes first, then to serve. Now, I think it's important to remember that service to ourselves is first. It's primary, because service to ourselves here in unity and in a spiritual context means service to that higher self and that divine connection, that most potent, intimate connection that we all have as we move through life, which is to Spirit, God. Or if you're an atheist, you could simply call it your imagination, because that's that connection. We have an idea that somehow we've got to do some special thing, something to get to that energy out there and bring it in. The truth is, it's in us. It speaks to us through imagination, through our thoughts, through that heart energy, through those aha moments when you feel, goosebumps moving through you. We moved out of our brain and our intellect, and we're feeling our body consciousness. Love Spirit, ourselves, and the world. There it is. Serve. The beauty of the Christ is expressed through service to one another. So we give service to ourselves first, which means taking care of your body, eating well, getting enough sleep, doing what you need to do to keep yourself healthy. And a big part of that is being in community. I heard that again, that people who are in community regularly, particularly a spiritual community, live at least 7 years longer than people who are not. So it's important to come together. That's why we've added fellowship every Sunday after service, so we get a chance not just for you to sit here and listen to me, but to make that connection. Awaken. We are one as God. Each of us is here to awaken to our divine potential. When we stop worrying based on life's not safe and begin to imagine what's possible, that's when we invite in that life force. That's when life begins to show up with the synchronicities. We are one as God. Each of us is here to awaken to our divine potential. We seek to transform our hearts by the renewing of our minds, knowing with God all things are possible. I mean, I feel like I should kind of just read that every hour on the hour, as opposed to the prayer I used to say in Catholic school. Hail Mary, full of grace, I'm a sinner and I'm going to die. That's really what it was. Vision statement. Unity of Richmond East Bay is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes all people. and accepts everyone, no exceptions. No exceptions, following the path of Jesus and other spiritual teachers. Recognizing that was one of the big things that drew me to Unity, was that it was an evolving spirituality. That's what the Fillmores did back at the end of the 1800s. They said, okay, so many of these religions have been following the Bible, but we've been doing the same thing, but I'm sick. I've been told I'm going to die, and we're having real problems with our finances. There's something more in that Bible that I need to learn, and they went right to Jesus's teachings, and their life changed. So it's remembering that you have the power to evolve spirituality, to grow in your understanding about who you are, what's going on out there, and what God is. And when we bring it into our personal self, boy, we've got a lot of power working in each and every day in our lives, don't we? Don't we? You get in a fight with your partner, and suddenly you can step back and go, wait a minute, one power, one presence. What's going on here? Can I look at this rather than through that old, how dare you do that to me? And that thing about my sensibilities have been offended, I've been betrayed or abandoned, or all those stories, to step back and go, oh no, if I'm a divine eternal being, I cannot be abandoned. Amen. Or nothing can go wrong. This is just something that's happening, and I can expand my consciousness around it until I feel a heart energy rather than that old fight flight. And it's funny, when I work with clients one-on-one who come in and they've got the stuff, you can see them change as they start to go into their stuff. And then when you bring in something new, you literally see them lift. So many times how clients suddenly yawn and they go, oh, I'm sorry. And I said, no, that's good. That's good. That's your body consciousness taking in what the intellect can't quite grasp at this moment. And so it's trusting. So that phrase, one presence, one power active in my life, it's helped me be present, because the only way we can find or reconnect with that energy when we feel separate is to take that moment. Be present. Take a couple of conscious breaths. Let the messenger go, whatever's triggered you out there, and refine that balance. And then sometimes I'll look again at that thing, but sometimes my inner guidance says, no, you need to let that go and go somewhere else. Turn it over to God. Turn it over to Spirit. Because the other gift of our spiritual connection with Unity is that we really begin to claim the concept and thus the vibration that we are eternal beings. And this body, this life that we're calling, is just one tiny piece and part of who we are. A powerful part, because we're here now, right? Presence and power. But there's always, always, always more. And so what happens is you start being afraid of that thing that we call death. A powerful Unity teacher passed away moved on, better word that I like to use, recently. I'm forgetting his name now, but he's wonderful. He's written a number of books, and he's wonderful, and I worked with him in the past. And then I saw the post on Facebook, and everyone's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sad. And I wrote, how wonderful. He gave us so much, and now he's on to his next journey. Which is the truth. Which is the truth. We let that idea of death create so much heaviness in our consciousness. Right? It's not sad, it's awful, and anyone who's passed on, you will see them again when we move on. But the truth is, all you have to do is think of them, call their energy into your heart, and you can feel their presence. It takes a conscious choice, right? And what I've realized with both my mom and my dad, once they passed through the body, I felt this release. And because I do this energetic work, I realized, oh, that karmic pattern that I had agreed to move through with them is now no longer being supported by them. I realized moving on that, whoa, but I still have it in me. But that's my opportunity. That's the fuel that they gave me to move to the next level. But the gift is I can think of my mom and she's present. I feel her, and there's so much that she has taught me since she passed on in my meditations, as well as my father. And as I talk about them here today, I can feel them present. So that is another gift of unity and coming here and sharing these concepts. We open to the invisible, to what our physical eyes have not been able to see yet, but what the great teachers who are still present on the planet are sharing with us is that 2026 is going to be a time when our inner eyes begin to open, where we perhaps make first conscious contact with some of those other civilizations who are already present right here in the planet, but our collective consciousness has not been ready or open to accept that yet. What if 2026 really was an evolutionary shift that made the world look unrecognizable to where we are now? But what if we're ready to recognize that new thing? What if all the things that we've struggled with, that seemed so big, suddenly melted away and we were in a different place? Can we open to that possibility right here, right now? Yes. Because that's what we're going to be moving into. That's what we're going to be sharing with. We had Jyoti Ma come a couple of weeks ago, one of the 13 grandmothers. And she said the same thing, that she's tuned into an ancient spirituality that's tuned into the native communities all over the world. And they are saying we are on the precipice of a real spiritual and physical and emotional and mental evolutionary shift. And it's not something we have to do. That's the other thing that unity teaches us. Less doing, more being, more allowing. It doesn't mean we don't trust that inner intention, that energy that's pulling us forward, to pull us forward and feel. It's not like we don't take action, but we take action from a place of love and trust rather than the reaction, which is always navigating what we think is coming at us. Rather than it coming at us, let's open to it flowing through us. So let's take a moment, close our eyes, breathe into that connection, and just allow the breath as it moves through you to be that presence. I call it the Holy Spirit, because it's that divine spirit that makes us whole in each moment. So we recognize now that it's interesting. Just imagine Mother Earth right now flowing around the sun. And it's interesting, in this coldest time of the year, when the day is the shortest, we are actually closer to the sun than any other time in the year. And of course, the 21st, in 7 days, that's exactly where we will be. But yet it's dark. More darkness. It's the dark night of the soul, as we have called it. We'll go more into it more deeply next Sunday. But let's recognize that that time when we're that close to the sun, but it's a time of darkness, a time of going within, a time of the inner consciousness, we are literally being downloaded with not only energy and ideas and possibilities from that bright light, which is the bright light of consciousness, but we're also being reprogrammed physically, mentally, emotionally, and we're also being seeded with the energies and the possibilities for this next coming year. So we open our hearts today, recognizing that this week, these next 7 days, are potent, powerful weeks for us to prepare to take in this new energy, this new vibration, this new divinity. We can open our imagination, and I invite you each day to spend even just a little bit of time imagining what could be possible for you personally, for your loved ones in your family, for this community here, for our country at large, for the world at large, and even for the universe, a new understanding. Recognizing that each of those stars out there hold a unique divine vibration, just as each person does. and that we're all connected via what we call consciousness, that one presence, that one power. And as we simply expand our mind to recognize that we're in relationship with all of it, we fall into harmony with it. And so as we breathe that in, as we open to that connection, we feel our grounding right here, right now. And if you're within the sound of my voice, I invite you to open your hearts and to ask yourself if you'd like to be a member of this community. And being a member of this community simply means saying yes. Because as you heard, we welcome all people, no exceptions. So if you've said that yes, and you're here in person, we've got a little pin for you after the service. If you're saying yes on the YouTube, next time you show up here, just remind us, I'm a member now and I want my pin. And we invite you to continue to join us in person or in your heart. And definitely join us for next week's powerful process, because we've also got our concert. We're going to rehearse after service. We're having a potluck. And as always, there's more. More than we expected, more than we thought, more possibilities. And so now together we sing the Lord's Prayer.